What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the top of the map in the blue color, playing as Poseidon. His name is Ulysses. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Set, the god of mischief. Ooh, his name is Yoshii. This is game number 4 of this best of 5 series. Game point for Ulysses after Ulysses took a fairly commanding victory with his Zeus against Yoshii's Odin. And Yoshii deciding, you know what, Norse just isn't it today. I'm going to be shaking things up and going with the Set and seeing what we do. Priest scouting around. We do have ourselves some decent food over here. A random hippopotamus, a couple of water buffaloes over here. We've got ourselves a rhino over here as well. Top side of the map doesn't really have all too much. There is a stray hyena over here. But a very, very low hunt map here, which is definitely going to favor the Set if he plays it anywhere close to normal. So when it comes down to it, if there isn't a whole lot of hunt early and you can't get the perfect builds out, the best way to play is actually to just delay your monuments and get them a little bit later. So, you know, the build that I talk about, which is a 432 monument build, works when you have 1,000, well, when you have good food in your base. When you have starting hunt with Set, you can convert the animals, bring them back. Pretty much any map you can get the 430 advance time with 2 monuments if you convert some animals and bring them home. This map here, where you don't get any hunt in the starting base, makes it a little bit more challenging. So the idea is you still want to advance fast, but you don't want to get your monuments. You can get them a little bit later. Make sure you get your temple up fast enough to be advancing, and then get your monuments while you advance, and do it that way. And you're going to be completely fine, and make those animals and take an advantage in terms of timings, because you're hunting and your opponent's not hunting. That's where it comes down to. But this is one of the more difficult matchups, I would say, for a Set player. The point is that Poseidon has all of the tools at his disposal to defend against what Set wants to do. And I think about Set as one of the ultimate timing gods in this game. You get the extra boosted hunt, or because you got extra hunt, no walking time for that hunt. You also get 3 aggressive god powers, I guess 4 aggressive god powers. You get yourself vision, which is going to allow you to surprise attack somewhere. Funnily enough, you get shifting sands, which is also a surprise attack. You also get ancestors, which is another surprise attack, and tornado, which is yet again another surprise attack. So with all of that knowledge being available to you, you should deduce that Set is an timing attack based god full of surprises. So we'll see how Yoshii is going to be going for that. And then, and as that is the case, then we have to think about, oh, well, what does Poseidon do to defend against what Set does? And why is Poseidon so good? Well, Hermes. Hermes is Ceasefire, which means he can defend against either the shifting sands, the ancestors, or the tornado, and slow your timing down by 1 minute. And then beyond that, he also gets access to militia, which are really, really strong units, which basically you have to kill. You have to kill the buildings in order to get in, and then kill the town center and take that for yourself. So let's talk about ideas now on this map. This is a pretty peculiar map. You do have this water that's coming around the corner of the map. Very, very watering hole-esque. You've got water over here as well, both in range of these town centers in the middle of the map. So if you do get map control early, if you force map control by going straight for 4 town centers, that is not the end of the game. A 2 town center player can very simply rush Mythic Age, make some boats, and then be taking your town center down with naval auxiliaries. So rushing town centers, not an option here in this game. As we see a second monument now coming up for Yoshii. It's going to be advancing very, very late here. There is a world where this late advance time is very, very good. The idea being that you actually rush your 3 town centers up. So we'll see if that's what Yoshii's going to do. It doesn't seem like he is, because he's going through Tar. For 5:30 advance time, we've got ourselves kind of like a 4-minute, 5-minute advance time from our Poseidon player Ulysses. He's going to be getting his Theseus out. This is going to be causing some issues. So one thing that Yoshii can do fairly easily is go to town center, wall this off, try and get to the next age really, really fast. Or you go for a classical fight of some variety, but he's not going to be able to tackle too much with that one. So it's not a good idea to do that. There's another option where you can go to town center, mass chariot archers into the mythic age, which could be really, really good. Ulysses, on the other hand, he's simply just going to be grabbing his second town center and just kind of trying to make some buildings, trying to boom, trying to play slow. His win condition here is to stay alive. If you stay alive long enough against Set, you should be able to beat Set. That's the general gist. Set does have a late game, but it relies mostly on you going through Thoth, which you don't want to do. So there's that. The reason I say that is because you get Book of Thoth, you get the heavy elephant or the champion elephant with the tusk of Apatamak, and you can cause a lot of issues for your opponents with those technologies. We do see Yoshii now going to be grabbing his town center over there. There's a nice rhino on top of this one. So these 8 villagers making the long walk over here in order to grab these to grab this town center. It's going to be able to follow this up by grabbing the rhino and then jumping onto the trees afterwards. Makes a lot of sense there. As we are also seeing an armory coming down. Big X coming through for Yoshii as well. There's actually another strategy which I have seen used, but not really seriously. I think Wiz used it. I've tried it before and it's pretty funny. The idea is you can go for a fast mythic through Thoth and actually go for mass Phoenix into Phoenix raids. And it actually catches it can actually catch Poseidon player very much off guard because they're going to be having flaming birds on their gold mine, and they've only got one ranged hero to deal with it. So you can kind of get away with that one there, as we are seeing the bow of Artemis here going to get stolen away from Yoshi's nose. Hondo is waiting on Hands of the Pharaoh. Too slow here, Yoshii, as Hands of the Pharaoh actually gets cancelled there. He's so upset. No, I wanted that relic. It was a great relic to be had. We're seeing the Katoskopos trying to get some pile blocking going on, but not going to be able to do so, as the priest does end up inside of the tower, and the Katoskopos is going to be retreating away. No harm. He's just running around, just saying g'day. All good. So town center's up for both players. We've got 3 stables coming down now for Ulysses. The idea here is that not necessarily the idea. The problem with Poseidon here that you have to have some sort of knowledge of this matchup is that Poseidon against Egyptian wants to go mass Hippocon because he deals with the chariot archers really nicely by going mass Hippocon. Set doesn't necessarily have to go chariot archers because Set can actually manage to spam out all of these Gazelle of Set, which he's actually doing, and then manage to spam out spearmen in a big clip, at a big clip. So we'll see if that's what Yoshi's going to be going for here, or if he does end up just simply going for chariot archers after advancing to the next age, as he's just about to do so. There he goes through Nephthys up here. Lots of villagers on this location here. We'll finish up on these Gazelle of Set. You do have to macro this a little bit, but there's not a whole lot going on, so it's not that hard to do at this stage of the game. And as the game goes on, you can get access to Giraffe, and then you can get access to Hippo of Set, which is much more food. It takes a little bit less APM to be dealing with all of those. As we see, the house is starting to get targeted down. Hand axe coming through for Yoshii. He's going to be moving his villagers over onto the wood line. Makes perfect sense. The Pharaoh needs to come elsewhere. And the question really is, do you go into farms here? Do you just make more animals and eat those? Do you go chariot archers? Do you go spearmen? Those are the big questions. We've already got Hippocon as the unit of choice. Ulysses stopping production here for the time being. There is a fairly known kind of concept here for Greek against Egyptian, in that the Egyptian army wins, or the Egyptian Migdol army beats Hippocon up until the Hippocon have got heavy upgrades. Once the Hippocon have heavy upgrades, then it stops being as brutal. So Ulysses might be attempting to get to the heroic age here. Not only that, you also get the reduction in train speed once you get there. You can see it drops from 20, or goes from 20 seconds down to 15 seconds once you hit the heroic age. And now Yoshii looks actually like Yoshii is going to the mythic age. I love this. I love this play, and I've the 2-town center Fast-Mythic here is fantastic. The question is, what do you do with it against Poseidon? Because Poseidon can just ceasefire the stuff. So there is an idea in which you can go for a shifting or a tornado into a shifting sands to steal the town center, and that way you can use ancestors, and then the ancestors will defend you building the town center up. So that's one way forward. Maybe on the hometown center or something. Have we used vision already? Yes, we have. A little bit sad, but it is what it is. And Horus is the god of choice here for Yoshii. So he's got all of the god powers at his disposal except for vision, which I think is a little bit bad here as we see the barracks coming up. Oh, are we gonna see the spearmen shifting sands all in? This is gonna be spicy. I'm excited. I hope it works. I hope Yoshii does something cool here with all these barracks. One thing you do want to do is get the at least one barracks up earlier though, so that you can get out medium spearmen and potentially heavy spearmen before you start making your spearmen. And that'll be a little bit better as we do see the units now sneaking in. Cheeky transport ship here, allowing the units to come in and hit some raids over here. Yoshi's going to be a little bit disappointed about that one, as he loses one villager, loses 2 villagers. A wall over here would go not a very long way at all here. So we do see this wall coming up on this position as the Hippocon are simply just going to be wandering around. But we do have a couple of myth units out already and no heroes over here. So this is going to get dealt with completely fine here as we see medium spearmen now coming through, as the spearmen are going to be getting sent over onto this location to defend. And let's take a look over here. What is happening? We got the walls up. We've got all of the stuff up. And without vision means no way into the opponent's base here, it would seem, as the units coming forward. We've got ourselves the rhinoceros of set. Are we going to see rhinos or hippos of set here? That's definitely an option. Or Yoshii can just simply grab town centers here as Ulysses is taking his time. So Yoshii going to move forward, grab this town center. There is no real reason to hit the mass timing attack beyond the fact that your opponent is going to be able to get Mason's fortified town centers and really slow you down in terms of the amount of damage you can do with the tornado. So grabbing this town center here will slow Yoshi's timing attack down a little bit. Yoshii a little bit low on the food here. He is eating his rhino and eating his hippo of set, so he's not going to be using those in his army with Feral here. And he can continue to build those hippos of set if he wants. He's got himself 68 favor in the bank, so that's actually enough to get him access to his spearman upgrade, greatest of the 50 and spear on the horizon. So we'll see if he wants to grab those anytime soon. There's the spear on the horizon. There's the curse coming in nice and early before those spearmen start getting more HP. They do have to retreat back, and the town center will end up coming through. Ulysses at 89 population, lots of food and gold in the bank. He will be attempting to get to the next age fairly soon here. He needs a marker down though in order to go there, and we'll see what Yoshi's going to do with all of this wood in the bank. Imagine if he'd spent these resources though. Imagine he's going to buy Greatest 50 and Spear of the Horizon. If he'd spent all those resources on siege towers, he could have shifting sands onto his opponent, forced a ceasefire, and then pulled back, broken down this wall, and then pushed in with Ancestor's Tornado in order to take that town center. But he is going for this forward town center. It's going to be 4 town centers to 2 town centers, and we did already say this earlier in the game. Water, range, docks, siege ships, 2 town centers is fine. He also has a earthquake coming, so that's a dead town center regardless. So there is all of that to come here. As Yoshii, he's still got a lot of gold in the bank, so he did sell all of his wood in order to buy a whole bunch of food, in order to buy all his upgrades, but he can continue to be doing that if he really wants to. Moving over to these gold mines in the middle of the map. I would like to see a Migdol stronghold placed here. A Migdal Stronghold or a whole bunch of towers on this water would go a real long way here. But you do have to be fairly aware of, or be predicting the future a little bit to be aware of that. As irrigation coming through, shaft mine, husbandry, all the upgrades coming in for Ulysses, as Yoshii is simply just going to be retreating back, taking this nice and slowly. More barracks coming down. We still don't have heavy spearmen, but the spearmen are basically at heavy at this point because of their upgrades. The units pushing through this Nemean line, doing some good damage here as units do have to retreat back. Shadoof, heavy spearmen now coming through, as well as fortified town centers. Seems like that'll be a little bit too late for a potential to block Earthquake if he does decide to use it on this town center, but I think that it would be better to go after this one here and use the siege ships on this position here as heavy cavalry is coming through, and we do indeed see the Earthquake dropping on this position. So the hard part now for Yoshii is effectively dealing with Ulysses's Chimera spam. That's the hard part. How do you deal with that? And I think the answer is normally you make Avengers en masse in order to deal with the opponent's Chimera at this stage of the game. As we are seeing the unit's going to be fighting this one out here underneath the Ancestors. Obviously, Yoshii wants to be attempting to force a ceasefire here to get himself some units out. Naval Auxiliary is coming through right now for Ulysses. Siege Works is up. Ulysses with a slight advantage in terms of score, but it's not going to be that useful here as he's getting pushed back. We are seeing this Spearman attempting to take down the gate, but not going to be able to break that one down just yet. Yoshii's economy is definitely hurting right now. If we take a look at the economic upgrades here, does he have shaft mine? No shaft mine. So a little bit on the difficult side of things here. In terms of Yoshii's economy, he definitely wants some extra upgrades here at this stage. Alternatively, making those hunt out of his pharaoh in order to prevent himself from having to make farms here could have gone a very long way. So he's trying to push through this location. Does kill off that one Nemean lion. But there will be these Oxy Juggernauts coming out onto this town center very soon here as the gate does get broken down. The priest, the Wadjet, need to start taking out the Chimera here instead of not focusing them down as the units pushing through. We will be potentially seeing a tornado getting dropped onto this location. There is no masons through the Ulysses, so even though the fortified town center will end up coming in, I think the town center still barely survives, but we are seeing the villagers repairing this one back up, and that's going to be a saved town center here. Nice play from Ulysses. Good awareness to get those villagers. And you see how close it was. 200 HP. Without those villagers repairing, it would have gone down. Nice play there from Ulysses as Yoshii getting his town center back. But the Oxy Juggernauts taking down this town center. And because no towers down, no nothing here, no Migdal Stronghold, it's just not going to be enough. We do see the units pushing in over here. Yoshii's still struggling a little bit to defend. He is getting himself feral right now. So going to be making some rhinos of set here in order to give his army just a bit of a bolster. And this is I think this is a slight mistake in this stage of the game. You want that favor for Avengers and Avengers only here. As we do see a whole bunch of Yoshii docks have come through. Yoshii does not have Mason through, does not have the resources to really defend this one, hasn't started a trade route. His farms are up, but the economic upgrades are so absolutely poor right now. This has got nothing to do with Set economy. I see a lot of players saying, or a lot of people saying that Set's economy is so weak, but it's not that. It's that that Yoshii hasn't got his economic upgrades through in this game. And that's why he's just not able to afford anything. We are going to be seeing the Chimera almost getting picked off here to those spearmen, but he does so much damage with that special ability. As the ramming galleys do manage to come through, and we'll take out these Oxy Juggernauts relatively fast here. The villagers running around for their lives. The units returning back over onto this position. Definitely want to get the rhinos to be getting onto those Toxotes in the back, allowing those spearmen to get all that damage done. We also see the Hippolyta going down, and at this point the Rhinoceros is actually doing some really good work here. So Yoshii making a fairly decent decision where that's concerned, as now we see those triremes popping out, and because no Migdal, no towers, a little bit sad there for Yoshii as he's still trying to work out what to do here. Handful of idle units over here. Yoshii's got himself his town center over here, as we also see the Oxy Juggernaut coming in. Don't think it's in range of this town center. And we are seeing a market over in the corner for Yoshii. He's going to start a trade route fairly soon here. It's not the end of the world here for Yoshii. He's still up a town center. He won't be able to get this town center back anytime soon. And he does still have shifting sands. And there still is a ceasefire though. So kind of counters out each other in a big way. So maybe the best way to use shifting sands here is going to be to shifting sands villages into the back position, build some barracks over here and cut off a trade route or something like that. Might not be a bad idea. As Yoshii, 76 of 80 villages. Lots of those villages kind of not gathering here at the moment as well. I'm surprised to see Ulysses kind of getting away with not making Capacitus in this game, but a lot of that does come down to simply making Chimera. So those are incredibly strong units to be using against the Spearmen here. But like I said, Avengers is the solution for set players against this, and a little bit of a problem about to occur for Yoshii as the Chimera are going to move in as well as the rest of the army. The village is going to be getting pushed away here as they do retreat, but the Chimera are going to come in and going to get that splash damage done if he does decide to attack, and he does. Tons of damage getting dealt there. The Toxotes trying to take down these units. The Spearmen going to be moving in from the top side of the map here, trying to surround the army, but the units have already done the damage as the villages all end up getting taken out here. Absolutely beautiful play from Ulysses to find that gold mine there. As the ramming galleys are up, the town center ends up coming down as well as, or coming up as well, I should say, as the fortified town center and fortress are there. That's a very, very scary Ulysses at this point. Bronze mail coming through as well. Tons of economy coming in. And the Chimera getting pushed back here. More Chimera going to be coming out, getting some extra damage done. You have to be super careful against the Chimera. Stacking your army like that, you just get so much. You just receive so much damage. It's just a sad state of affairs. We've got the war barges coming through for Yoshii. Flames of Typhon. Is that actually what the upgrade is called? Flames of Typhon? I didn't think it was. Yes, it is. Flames of Typhon coming through, and there's the shifting sands coming in. A Migdol stronghold going to be getting dropped on to this position as the Spearmen going to be coming through to try and take this one out. This might be an attempt for Yoshii to force a ceasefire here, but these are not it. These Spearmen don't do that much damage. We do already have ourselves 9 Hetairoi here, going to be able to take down this Migdol stronghold very, very fast. As the priest trying to deal with the Chimera over here, we've got ourselves 3 Chimera here as the barracks going to get dropped. The Migdol stronghold attempting to get repaired back up with the help of the Pharaoh empowering this one. The Chimera swinging around here to try and take down these spearmen over here. Yoshi's shifting sands not going to be it without the help of siege as the Hetairoi tear down the barracks, tear down tear down the military, the Migdol, and then we'll tear down the barracks after that one as the village is going to be making a retreat for the corner of the map. And he definitely could have tried this with a transport ship or something, but not the option just yet. As more spearmen going to be running in onto this position. Yoshii at 112, 160 population, 76 villages to 74 villages, still very, very close on the villager count. But the economy of Ulysses is just too strong. He's got himself nearly iron mail here, as he doesn't have any weapon upgrades or shield upgrades. But those don't matter because Yoshii is just going mass spearmen in this game. Meanwhile, we've got a whole bunch of Pentaconters coming through to take out these war barges that Yoshii wanted to use to try and destroy the opponent's town center, but it's just not going to be enough, as now we're going to see Ulysses starting to march in to take this forward town center down. We've only got a handful of Hetairoi, but in that moment, Yoshii does decide to tap out. GG, well played by Ulysses, manages to come back in this game from a 4-2 town center deficit, utilizing this lake over here to take this location down. Yoshii just not really able to get the value that he really wanted to get out of Tornado. And I think that the strategy that he employed here is 100% a valid strategy. I think that the better way to go about it is to try and utilize shifting sands in some way to force a ceasefire. So one way you can do that is get out a siege works, get out 2 barracks, spam out your spearmen, spam out your catapult, shifting sands onto your opponent's base. and take that out as best as you possibly can. Ceasefire will come down. Then you click Ancestors. You build your buildings in there. You got your villagers to help fight and help take down the town center. So you should be able to win that. And then you can tornado the home town center or something like that while it's all going on. Alternatively, you can cast Tornado to kill the town center and then Shifting Sands in afterwards to grab that town center in Ancestors and be in a different position. But Yoshii did go for the 4 town center grab straight away. And I think this was possibly, there was ways in which Yoshii could have won this game. For example, like towers over here, docks straight away in order to defend this would have worked really nicely. The earthquake that Ulysses dropped didn't really do all too much. And then he just had to deal with these Chimeras. Now, Chimeras do technically beat out the Avengers, but the Avengers are in fact the best unit to be dealing. So Avengers have 600 HP, Chimera have got 800 HP, or 960 with the upgrade, but 800 HP. And the Avengers have got 60% hack armor, and they have 60% hack armor. Then you have 200% damage with 26 hack or 20 hack versus the Avenger, which has got 28 hack with 200% damage. So the Avenger, Chimera, it's kind of equal until Chimera Tyrant comes in, and then it would go into the Tyrant advantage. But they do cost a little bit more at 30 favor and 300 gold. So you can actually seem to make a lot of sense out of why that unit is the one you want to deal with these Chimera. But Yoshii didn't see that in this game, and Ulysses gets the dub, gets the series, and he's going to be moving on to the next round of this tournament here. Congrats to Ulysses. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, and subscribe on YouTube. Do that thing now. Bye.